Hi everybody. I am teaching a class tomorrow um, on writing to a group of 8th graders, and I thought I'm gonna tape the preparation for it. I'm just gonna kind of go through the items that I wanted to tell the kids tomorrow. Basically what happened was I was there in their class about 4 weeks ago, and I did a reading about The Traveler. And the school bought the books for each of the kids. So the school bought a book for each of them. There were about 20, 25, 19, I think 19 copies. And then we said, because it was a really great session, they really got it. And we thought, okay, I'm going to come back, and based on The Traveler, I'm going to do a little class on writing. So I wanted to share with you what I'm going to tell the kids tomorrow, which are basically two very fundamental things. And where I got those from is this DVD that I pitch to everybody that I can possibly pitch it to. It's called The Hero's Two Journeys, Michael Hauge and Chris Vogler. Those are, the two of them are Hollywood script consultants, and they know story so well. And especially in this case, Michael Hauge gives a great overview of story structure, and he talks about two items that every story must have. And that's basically what I'm going to talk to the kids about tomorrow. So those two items are the most important thing in a story. Without those two items, it will be your structure and everything can be absolutely beautiful, your prose, but if you don't have those two items in the story, it will be completely flat. You can be a master in structure, in Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, climax, final battle, everything. If you don't have those two items, you will not have a great story. So the first item, both items have equal weight. The first item is the main character has to have a burning, I always say comma, burning desire. So a burning desire. If it's just a desire, it will not work. The more powerful the main character's desire is, the more powerful the story will be. If Frodo says, well, you know what, I would like to bring the ring, take the ring to Mordor, if not, it's alright too, there's no story there. No story at all. The main character has to have a burning desire. A very, very powerful desire. If you talk about desire, then what makes a really, really great story is point number 2, which is the other 50% of the two items, is that the main character has to have an obstacle to overcome that is more powerful, especially in the beginning of the story, more powerful than the desire. So if you have a burning desire, let's say come back to Frodo. Frodo has the desire to take the ring to Mordor. It's a pretty strong desire because he wants to help Middle-earth get rid of evil, so he says, I will take the ring to Mordor. And then the obstacle in his way is obviously the orcs, and then the obstacles get bigger. They become Uruk-hai, and they become from 100 orcs to thousands, tens of thousands orcs. In the second movie, for example, there is no such force, and then the camera moves over the valley, and there are tens of thousands of orcs and Uruk-hai. So you have the burning desire, and you have the obstacle. If you have those two items in a story, you are far ahead of the game. Because from those two items, from the main character's burning desire that brushes against the obstacle every time on every page, you already have a great story. Then if you add the structure and everything else, prose and whatnot, makes it incredible. But without those two, the story is flat. If there is, for example, if Kate Winslet's character in Titanic says to Jack, I will go off the Titanic, I will go off this ship with you, I'm gonna go and separate from my husband, and I will be with you. That's her burning desire. You can see her burning desire in the beginning of the movie. And Jack says, sure, come with me. She would have probably done it, and the story would be pretty flat because there is no obstacle to overcome. Maybe they would have to escape the husband, but that's pretty much it. But the obstacle comes into place when the Titanic starts to sink. So you have the burning desire here, and you have the Titanic sinking here. So in the beginning of the story, the burning desire is always less powerful than the obstacle. The obstacle is always more. And when the story progresses, the obstacle gets higher, and the desire of the character has to adjust until the final battle, the climax of the story, where the obstacle is the most powerful, and the burning desire of the character has to flow over that obstacle, and then you come to the resolution. So in the Lord of the Rings, for example, you have the orcs, and then you have the fighting Uruk-hai, and it adds, and then in the end you have Mount Doom. So Frodo's desire has to be really, really high to get rid of the ring, and then you have Sam, whose desire then has to be even higher than Frodo's, because Frodo obviously doesn't want to destroy the ring. So you always have those two forces, the burning desire and the obstacle, collide on every page. That makes a really, really great story. If you look at Episode 7 of Star Wars, the very final scene, when Rey holds the lightsaber out toward Luke Skywalker, and in her face, she doesn't say anything, in her face you can see the desire. Please help me to become a Jedi. That is a burning, burning desire that sets up the second movie beautifully. You can see it in her face. She doesn't even have to say anything. That burning desire is there. That will fuel the second movie. All you need then is obstacles, because Luke Skywalker, I'm sure, is not going to say, oh yeah, sure, come on, come on in, we'll start right now, give me 20. There will be massive obstacles. So coming to the Traveler on those two items, right? T is 12 years old and her dad died. He leaves her a notebook because she's the blacksmith apprentice in his blacksmith shop. And she has been working with him since she was like 6 years old, so she's pretty good at stuff, but not perfect, obviously. She's 12 years old, she's very talented. He dies, he leaves her a notebook, and in this notebook he has plans that he gives her page by page, written by him, to build a time machine, to go back in time and see him again. So T's burning desire is to see her dad again. That is a very, very powerful desire that she has. Now, if you think about an obstacle, the obstacle has to be larger than the desire, especially in the beginning. In T's case, the obstacle is so powerful that in order for her to do that, she would have to actually travel back in time, which is impossible. We all know It's only in science fiction that you can travel back in time. But her character's desire is here, and the obstacle is like Mount Everest, right? Because she can't go back in time. The internal obstacle, which is also a great item, a great device in a story, there should be an outside obstacle and an inside obstacle. The outside obstacle in this case is time itself, right? And the building of the time machine, which she has trouble believing that she can, which is the internal obstacle. The internal obstacle in her case is that she does not believe she can build the time machine at first, and then towards the end of the story, when we realize, or when she realizes that the obstacle is not only to build the machine, but now once the machine is built, to actually go back in time, to flip that switch, turn the machine on, trust her dad that he did not fool her, that he actually believes that she can do it. At that moment, the obstacle is the highest because she has lost all belief that she can do it. All hope is lost. Like in Frodo, when he's in Mount Doom, he lost the desire to throw the ring into the fire. Aragorn and Gandalf and everybody is completely surrounded. This is the point where the hope is the furthest away. When the night is the darkest, when everything seems completely lost, that's when the desire, that burning desire of the main character, has to become so powerful that it washes over the obstacle. And that brings the resolution. So in The Traveler, her desire has to be stronger than time. And that is the ultimate conflict between the burning desire and the obstacle, because no obstacle can be bigger than time itself, or death, right? So those two items are very, very important. Usually what you try to do is have those two items established in the first act. That means, let's say you have the first 25% of the book, 20% of the book, that you have the desire fully developed and the obstacles very, very clear. And that moment, it can be earlier, but you want to kind of meet the main character in their ordinary world, as Joseph Campbell calls it, the ordinary world where you have their normal life, their normal thoughts, their normal relationships, and then something happens. In The Traveler, it is that she finds the notebook that is the spark to the adventure, that is the spark that actually ignites the burning desire. So you would have fuel and oxygen, right? Fuel is the burning desire, oxygen is the opposing factor. You have to bring the two together in order to make it a really an explosive story. And you want to set it up early on so that it's very, very clear that you have that desire and you have the obstacle. And then the second act, which is about a half of the book, is about increasing the obstacle and increasing the desire of the main character until it's almost impossible. In the third act, it seems impossible for the main character to overcome that obstacle. The desire of the main character then has to become so strong and powerful that it, even if it's only 1/8 of an inch more powerful or higher than the obstacle, it will flow across it, and that will resolve the story. And the reward for the audience is higher the obstacle is and the higher the desire is, right? If T would have said in the beginning, well, it would be great to see my dad again, but if I don't, that's fine, there would be no story, right? If Rey in Star Wars would say, Luke, here's the lightsaber, if you would like to, help me become a Jedi, that would be awesome. If not, I'm fine too, I'm just gonna go and get a burger somewhere, right? There would be no story at all. So the main factor in the story is the burning desire and the obstacle. That's it. I will see you soon. Bye.